So you've just installed RevOS, or you've used a power plan that has this option enabled, or disabled rather by default, or possibly you followed Calypto's guide or perhaps a different guide. Regardless of the way you got here, you check your task manager and your hardware monitor, and you see 100% CPU usage, but this doesn't really add up. Doesn't really make sense. Your temps are high. Your temps are like weird. But there's no utilization on the CPU. So what's wrong? Well, in that power option, there is a power setting, which is included in RevOS. I believe it is set to enable by default nowadays, but sometimes people end up disabling it. And it is called processor idle disable. And the idle state of the processor is when it's not doing anything. So if it's not actually being actively, I guess, polled for data processing, it goes into an idle state. This is different from C states and such because it's basically just not using the CPU. It's not putting voltage through the CPU, which means that it can run at a lower voltage. When you disable idle, like this, which is what ends up having this result, there's less instability in the ramp up and the ramp down of the CPU usage. So it stays consistent, which generally results in either more consistent performance in games or perhaps lower latency because of the less pulling back and forth. However, this is not generally good all the time, because when you're not playing games or anything, you kind of want this to be cooler just so that your room doesn't turn into a space heater and there's no anxiety over other programs maybe getting, I don't know, pushed apart by this. I guess there's no real reason to not use enable idle other than not wanting your temps to be like this all the time, which is this is an okay, this is fine, but you know, if you're leaving it overnight, there's no point. So you just go here, it's in power options, you just hit advanced power settings in your Vision Extreme Performance or whatever power plan you got. Scroll down to the bottom, processor power management, processor idle disable, and enable idle. Now enabling idle puts it back to normal, and your temps should go back to somewhat around wherever they were. Because mine is like 40C, I need to probably dust out my PC and repaste my CPU. But regardless, that's the fix. Thank you. That's all.